Today's a big day. I'm leaving the house right now. I'm so excited. The family hates me. I know. We're headed off to Connecticut. We're headed off to the brand new Great Wolf Lodge. All right, come take the journey with me. Here we go.
Yay!
Okay, let's sum this up here. We're going to run right through it in, sort of a sequential order. We'll get right to it. The water park. Honey, tell me some thoughts. What were your thoughts on the water park?
I thought it was a little underwhelming. I thought two things right off the bat. I didn't think they had enough lifeguards. I mean, safety piece. As a mom, as a dad, we think about those things.
I agree.
They had a pretty decent-sized swimming pool with one lifeguard. I also thought having one lifeguard for the wave pool was they needed a second person. There was a lot of bodies in there. A lot could go wrong. That was my very first thought about the actual water park.
I would agree. I thought that it was, you hear about it, you see the commercials, you hear people talk about it, and then you get there and you're like, that's it? I mean, maybe I'm used to the water countries, the water whizzes, stuff like that. It was just a little underwhelming. There's a lot to do for younger kids. I would say 10 and under is probably a good age.
They had a really nice, almost like a splash pad area. You had the water gun style things. They had this, the spouts coming up. It was all enclosed too for the little ones. So that was definitely a plus if your kids are 4 or 5 or under. Great little place for them to run around safe and have a good time.
As far as 14, 15, I have a 15-year-old daughter. It was a little boredom, there's really only 6 slides for the bigger kids and long lines. We went on a Saturday night and it's 40 minutes from the time you grab a tube till the time you go up there and actually come down. I mean, the long lines really killed it. And one other thing I will say is the tubes are heavy. When you bring the 2-seaters up, you need some muscle. Those things are 40, 50 pounds. I don't know how people are expecting people to bring those up. So yeah, the water park was just okay for me. I would give it 1 to 10. I'd give it about a 6.
I also thought they needed more signage. A lot of the some of the slides, there were 2 separate lines for different places, and there was maybe one sign at the bottom, but once you got halfway up, there was a lot of confusion. I thought a little more signage, or at least a person maybe there helping to direct.
How would you rate it?
I would probably rate it about a 7. I found it to be on the clean side. There a couple little things on the ground. I mean, you did mention that as well. But I didn't see the trash overflowing. I thought the people were nice. I thought it was pretty well run.
Okay, next part we're going to bring up is the hotel itself. So we checked into I want to say it's called a junior suite. It is not one of the specialty rooms. Still, even with the crazy, summertime discount, we still paid about $500 for the night. It's very small. It's not, I honestly think a regular room at Foxwoods, a king-size room at Foxwoods is bigger and better, as old as some of those rooms are. It just wasn't worth it. And as you can see, we share, there's a tiny bathroom, and then you have to step out of the bathroom in order to brush your teeth or wash your hands. So imagine going with a non-family member or another couple. That would be kind of embarrassing, somebody uses the bathroom, then you have to step out and wash your hands, or trying to get 4 people to change at the same time. That could be pretty hard. So I don't know. The one weird thing I would say, tell them about the hallways.
The hallways had a weird smell. I felt we couldn't quite pinpoint it, whether it was carpet smell, it didn't smell like new paint, just an odd kind of odor to the hallways. Yeah,
every time you step out of your room, you're like, whew, it kind of just hits you.
And the walls are super thin. We didn't notice as much in the evening, but the next morning around 7 a.m. we were next to probably a small family, and you could hear everything. Every kid crying, every kid fight. It felt like they were kind of right next to you.
It's almost like they didn't use any insulation in the walls and just put a 2x4, and that's all you have. The walls are very thin. I hope you get a good neighbor, because it's really bad. You can hear everybody's conversation. That would probably be another pet peeve. The rooms were underwhelming. They were small. They were clean. They were nice. Mm-hmm. But that setup with not having the bathroom and the sink in the same thing is really bad for, a large suite. To even call it a suite, I thought was kind of bad.
Not a lot of places to put your stuff either. I'm used to kind of having some, space to put out your suitcases, and there was this tiny little place. We each had a bag to kind of unpack and pack. You had wet clothes. All those things they didn't take into consideration.
All right, we're going to move on to the inner park itself, all the kiddie stuff, all the amenities. Let's see, a couple good things. Here's some tips and tricks. When you first walk in, registration's on your left. There's a bunch of kiosks. There's about 15 of them or so. Skip those. They tell you have to go to them. They tell you you should go to them to log in. Don't go to them. Just get right in line. The line, it was a little tough. I probably stood in it for 15 minutes, and that was on a slow day. If the line is 20 people deep, you might sit in it for 45 minutes to an hour. I was surprised, one good thing about the show is they have a lot of, the hotel. They have a lot of shows for the kids in the front lobby. Every day there's a breakdown. There's a dance show at 7 o'clock. There's a wolf show at 8 o'clock. Yeah. So take advantage if you have young kids. They have a lot of free stuff in the lobby. Get a pamphlet, find out what times things are going on. And that was really good for that. To your right is a gift shop. Man, this place is all about the money. A little further down to the right when you walk in is their high-end restaurant. Again, 2 words, high-end. Elevators are to your left, and if you keep walking in, that's the main concourse. That's where you're going to see the rope course. What else, hon?
They had bowling, really small alley in there. They had an arcade, which I thought was a good size. It gets crowded. It's, a Saturday night for sure. The ropes course, like you said.
Oh, they have a virtual reality headset thing you can go in. You can either go singly or family. I thought some things were medium priced. There's a Dunkin' Donuts in there. There's an ice cream parlor in there.
Mini golf.
Yeah, mini golf. They have a little mini golf thing that was a little underwhelming. The ropes course is pretty cool.
I would definitely say too, we didn't buy any passes before. I mean, minus the park. I think that was a smart idea because your kids might want to do something different. You may say,
don't buy the big passes. Yeah. It's like $150
yeah.
And you're never going to do everything.
Sure.
Just go there and pay $15 or $18 for each thing you're doing. That's really the best thing you can do.
I would agree.
One last question a lot of people are asking is, how far is it from the entrance to Foxwoods? So I have to explain this a little bit. When you step out of the lobby, the walk is, what would you say? How many minutes?
Maybe not even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's short. It's
3 or 4 minute walk to get from the edge of that to the edge of the Foxwood building. Now, there's a disclaimer. If you're not playing poker, because that's the first thing up the stairs, is the back of the poker room, you have to walk all the way around to get to the gaming areas. Now, that's another 10-minute walk. So again, if you want your first slot machine, you're looking at 12-minute walk, something like that probably. The further to get in, it's not really close.
Or if you want to take your kids to eat inside Foxwoods, we went to the sugar factory. That was quite a walk. For sure.
Yeah, things like that. Keep that in mind. If you want to eat a little cheaper or different, you're gonna walk over, but then you're gonna walk another half mile to some of the good or better restaurants. So it is a little bit away.
I would say if you have young kids, bring a stroller. Our kids are older and could walk, but it's definitely not close as far as, like Jay said, the gaming and the eating.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, it was just an okay trip. It all depends on your kid's age group and what you want to do. We tried to do a little gambling at night for an hour, sneak away. Overall, I mean, I gave, we gave the water park, I gave it a 6. I'm going to give the room, a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
It was really small. You would say 6?
I would say 6.
I'll say 6. The inner workings were probably the best part. I'd give that a 7 or an 8. There was some weird parts to it. So Karen mentioned, real quick, I'll go with some pros and cons here. So some of the cons are there's not enough signage for everything in the building. And here's my separate beef is a lot of the park workers will kind of yell at you and tell you, you can't come in this way, you can't do that. And I would say, but there's no signage that says that. They have a crazy rule. First off, this is insane to me. I think this is dumb and should be totally reworked. You can eat inside the water park. That to me is mind-blowing. You should never mix food with water. But they allow you to eat in there. And people walk around with pizzas and cups, and you can, drink your wine in the wave pool if you want. But the other part that I thought was weird is they won't allow outside food into the water park. So picture this. If you go to Dunkin' Donuts, which is 100 feet away, buy a coffee and try to walk in with that coffee to see your family, They will stop you and tell you no. And again, there's no signage for this.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that is just, they really don't have it together yet. If you can wait, I would wait a couple months. I think they're understaffed a little bit. I definitely don't think they've worked the kinks out. Other than that, I mean, the young kids will love it. You know, the kids, they had no problem with it. We were kind of just underwhelmed. Wasn't that good. We did get to gamble. Kids had fun. We ate good. Other than that, that's about it.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate you guys checking out our review. Please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.